ויהי בשנת התשיעית למלכו, בחודש העשירי, בעשור לחודש, בא נבוכדנצר, מלך בבל, הוא בכל חילו על ירושלים, ויחן עליה, ויבנו עליה דייק סביב. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came. He and all his army went against Jerusalem and encamped against it, and they built forts against it round about. Today, Aserat Tevet, we remember the beginning of the end. Today is the first tragedy in a series of tragedies that led to the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. But that is not all we remember and mourn. The state of Israel has designated this day as the day to memorialize and mourn all the deaths for which we do not know the exact date of the Yahrzeit. And so today, we reflect on the countless tragedies that have pained and challenged our people throughout history. Unfortunately, even in our own times, we have much to mourn for. Today, we mourn the millions who lost their lives in the hands of the Nazis. Today, we mourn the countless Israeli soldiers who died defending our homeland. Today, we mourn the innocent victims of terror. But let us hope that our tefillah will be answered, and this will be the last time that we have to fast and mourn the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash and countless tragedies that followed. Let us hope that soon we will stand and celebrate in Yerushalayim. I'm honored to invite Mrs. Isser to say a few words.
As most of you know, I grew up as a child of survivors. My mother and father are both survivors of the Auschwitz camp. My siblings, who are considerably older than me, had a peer group of friends that were also children of survivors. But since I was much younger than my siblings, I grew up with only one classmate who was basically the same as me. I was never particularly an envious person, but there was one thing that made me intensely jealous of others, and that was having grandparents. I had no idea what it was like to have a grandparent, or any other close family member for that matter. I compensated that for that by learning to become a pen pal at a very young age. I learned to write and read by the age of 8, so that I could communicate with my cousins in Israel by writing letters to them. I stayed in contact with my cousins in Australia, and as a teenager developed a relationship with my cousins who live in Germany. It was very important for me to have a feeling of family, but that was simply something that I did not really know. About 15 years ago, my parents and my brother went to visit Poland, my parents to go back to their home city of Lodz, in order to find the gravesite of my grandfather in the ghetto. I could not go with them, for my children were very young at the time. My parents brought back two things that were very significant to me. The first was a picture of my great-grandmother, Freda Vorovnik's headstone. And the second was the picture of the ghetto identity card of my maternal grandfather, Chaim Elo Karpinski. By the way, my father, who went back to find his father's gravesite, never found it. But it's really, what's most significant to me was, for the first time when my father brought back the picture of his headstone, I suddenly had this feeling of having roots. I'd never seen a headstone with a Vorovnik family name. Most of our relatives were killed in Auschwitz or various other camps. The picture of my grandfather was also significant because we'd never seen a picture of what he looked like. My father had a cousin who had run to France at the beginning of the war, and he had pictures of my paternal grandparents, but no one had retained any pictures of my maternal grandparents. So I never felt a feeling of kesher, never felt a feeling of real roots. Finally, when my mother brought back this picture from an identity card of the Lodz ghetto, I knew what my grandfather looked like. My maternal grandmother's identity card was found, however, her picture had fallen off, and so I still have to continue imagining what she really looked like. The issue that I really want to talk about today is the issue of Kaddish. My father, when I was a little girl, would always say Kaddish to this very day. When I got older, I realized that there was something very strange about the fact that my father was always saying Kaddish. So I asked my father, "Daddy, why do you always say Kaddish?" He answered me, "I'm always in mourning for my family." My father really lost all of his family during the war. And he never knew exactly when all of them were killed. And so what he said was, he always said Kaddish in order to memorialize their souls. He said to me, "There's always a soul from the Holocaust that someone needs to say Kaddish for, and so there's a reason to say Kaddish every day." This is a very powerful thing for him to say to me. I finally understood what his reasons were. Tevet was established as the Yom HaKaddish, and this reminds me of my father and his need to say Kaddish for the members of both his family and my mother's family and all of the souls who perished in the Holocaust.
I would now like to invite Anat Hershko, the granddaughter of a Holocaust survivor, to light the torches. This torch is in memory of 1.5 million children. This torch is in memory of millions of parents. This torch is in memory of thousands of rabbis and scholars. This torch is in memory of entire communities that were destroyed. This torch is in memory of thousands of Jews who sacrificed their lives fighting the Nazis. This torch is in memory of 6 million Jews who only wanted to live their lives. The following is based on testimony from the Eichmann trial.
I've seen a lot of terrible things. Things no one should ever see. Things no one should ever experience. One of the worst things I saw through my second floor window. I watched as they were loading people onto the train cars. Men, women, children. It's always hardest to watch the children. I watched children being taken from their mothers and thrown onto the trains. I saw one mother with her 3 children clinging to her. They held on to her, and then a soldier came with guns and had them go onto the train. The mother ran to the car and said to the soldier, "Please, please give me my children, please give me my children." He said, "How many of them are yours?" 3, she said. He looked at her, thought for a minute, and said, "Choose one. You can have one. Choose one." She walked onto the train car. Her 3 kids came to her. They held on to her, their heads on her legs. They looked up to her and said, "Mommy, please take me, take me." She looked down at them. She couldn't do it. She couldn't choose. She looked down at her 3 beautiful children for the last time and walked off of the train. She walked off of the train alone.